Here is one of our finest football historians, Peter Lyons. Welcome, Peter.
Hi, Peter.
Where'd you grow up?
The Halidon, I grew up.
Your father had the shop.
Yeah, mum and dad at the shop.
And wow, now this is the East Mallee, East Murray,
yep.
In the Mallee. We have, how do you say it?
McGee.
McGee, not McGeer. McGee, Wonka, of course, the famous Wonka. You're not a Wonka, are you?
That's my shirt I've got on.
Did you play for Wonka?
I'm a life member.
Of the Wonka Football Club, the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Mantung, Mukunda, Galga, Copeville, Halidon, there it is. Wow. Sandalwood. Why'd you play for Wonka if you...
I was living in Loxton. It's
right.
Yeah, it's about 20 k's out of Loxton.
Wanby, etc. in that amazing country. Ken Eustace, of course, is the shining light.
Yeah.
And that day I was there in Mantung, was that a couple of months ago, and we went. They took me onto the Oval. And we drove onto the Oval, and it was all where he kicked his first goal. I found it quite moving.
Yeah, and I've read Ken's book, and like his growing up as a child is how we grew up.
In that dusty playing football.
Everyone said it was tough and hard, but it was just what it was the only thing he knew.
Of course.
And the fact that you had rabbit for tea 3 nights a week was it was luxury. Yeah,
I love rabbit, and he talks about that how tough the times were. Communities were stoic, and this is in the foreword of your excellent book, The History of Football in the East Murray District. I congratulate you. I know I've spoken to you before about a different book. This is your third
one.
They're labours of love, Peter.
Oh yeah.
But I couldn't find an error in it as I read it, and I congratulate you
thank
for
you.
that. Yeah, I mean, there might be football errors that I wouldn't pick up.
Once I've printed them, I'm never going to look through it in case I do find one, because it's like having one of those missing pixels on your TV.
Yeah.
Once you know it's there, you always
I know, you see it. Because Ken was part of a kind of football dynasty there, wasn't he? Lots of other Eustaces played.
Yeah.
And looking at the names in this book, Andruski pops up time after time. Stasnowski, a lot of them.
Yeah, that's Ian Stasnowski played for Norwood. His father played up there.
But Leon, of course, is the mayor of Loxton. But lots of other Stasnowskis played there, and Eustaces, as we said, and then your family. You played for Wonka. How many games?
You've got me. I should have rehearsed that one.
That's
no,
right.
Over 100. 114.
And your son?
Yeah, he's got more than me now.
And where does he play?
He's at Walkerville now. He's playing down here. Yeah, he's living in Adelaide. Yeah.
Oh, you must be proud of him. It does cement a community, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What did it mean to this community over 100 years?
Well, but each you look at the people that were playing, and like you see, like you got a Ken Eustace in your team, and players of that ilk, and there were people in that team that would never get a kick all year. But everyone was there. They lived in the town.
Yeah.
They played for the football team.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they're such a vigorous. These are small towns, and this is hard scrabble farming.
Yeah.
So how many teams?
Well, 1927 was the most. There were about 10 teams in the district at that stage. It got through to about 4 during the 1950s, and then Swan Reach came in, and then probably for the last 30 years there's been East Murray and Wonka.
Yeah.
And unfortunately East Murray went into recess last year.
But Wonka's still going.
Yeah, they're having a good run at the moment because they've got a lot of young blokes. They haven't been very successful, but...
and at which league do they play in?
They're in the Riverland Independent League, which is what East Murray were in. But I know when I was there at Wonka, you got into a few grand finals, but success was measured in just survival.
Of course.
A lot of the time.
The team has survived to fight another year.
Your oval looked green, you added a few extensions to the club rooms, and you were making money. It was you're going all right.
Looking at this book, and you've got a lot of team photos. I love this photo, which is on the cover too, of a match played at Mantung between Mantung and Galga during the 20s with the cars, and they look like kind of Model T Fords around the oval.
And the quality of the photo is brilliant. Like I've had it blown up, and you can read the number plate on the Model Ts there. Yeah.
But look, one thing I don't understand, and people have always said this, looking at this team, now here's the Galga Premiers 1929, and it's a team shot. They look so much older, don't they?
Yeah.
And why is that? Did we get soft, or?
Oh, the hairstyles and
all of that,
like
don't they?
Yeah,
and I mean, they're probably, 19, 20.
Well, I suppose the boots they're wearing are their working boots. They've just had some splits nailed into them. Yeah.
But then you compare that with some of the later shots, and suddenly they look so much younger, don't they?
Well, I suppose Galga, there were no office workers in Galga in 1929, were there?
That's right. It was
they were farmers, woodcutters, all labourers. Yeah.
A marvellous history of the team. We learn that Wonka recruited very well in 1931 season, and that many young men who are unemployed were leaving the city and moving to the country in search of work. Country clubs were able to benefit from this, employing capable footballers as farmhands and woodcutters. Yeah. So, he's a good footballer, quick, give him a job.
Well, it was depression time, and there were league footballers in Adelaide that didn't have a job. And
as it becomes, any sporting history is also social history, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I've tried to do. I mean, you can't just put a book out there and expect to sell it when it's only on one subject, and that's where I've expanded on that. And it's not just about the football team; it's about the families and the history of the towns.
How do you research this, Peter? Is Trove useful?
Trove's useful, yes. And I spent a lot of time in the State Library, and which isn't easy when you're 500 kilometres away.
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of it is passed down. A lot of it, you knew of it, so you knew where to look for it, and then you found it. And researching this was a learning experience for me, and a lot of the stories I found are amazing stories, and they had to go in there.
While travelling to Alawoona one Saturday, a lorry carrying some of the Wanby football team, driven by Mrs. Martin, rolled over. Oh dear. Mrs. Martin was dazed when taken from the cabin, but was relatively uninjured. Some of the players received slight bruises and scratches, but were still okay to play, and so forth. This is priceless. Oh dear, poor old Mrs. Martin.
That was before the Bitumen Road.
Another poor season for Wanby. And so forth. Oh, poor old Wanby. Did they ever get a flag?
They were very strong in the 30s, but they went up to a stronger league, and it was the end of them. It brought them down a peg.
Nicknames here of players, and I note you have the team of the century at the back.
I mean, I might be pumping myself up a bit there, but if you've got a story about a centenary, 100 years of something, you've got to have a team of the century. And
Ken Eustace isn't in it.
Well, Ken only played for a few years as a boy, and he won his medal at Swan Reach playing in another league. So,
Oh, well, fair enough.
And there's a few like that.
My guest is Peter Lyons, author of The History of Football in the East Murray District. How long do you work on something like this, on a book?
That one was probably about 18 months. But like I said, I grew up in the district, so I knew a lot of the stories, and writing it in that format where I started from the first year and went through to the 100th year. It's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. And
now here is, of course, the lushes of Galga, Julie Anthony's people, I imagine. Well, there were a lot of lushes there, were there?
No, just that family. Yeah.
Steve Lush.
That's her brother.
Her brother. And he played with the father.
Les, Les was the footballer, apparently. He won a few medals over the Lamoureux League.
Father and son. John Lush, who used to run the Farmers Federation, was a cousin too.
Les played league football for Glenelg.
I see. Les was former Glenelg, and played for Jabuk, Geranium and Perilla, winning male medals in 51 and 56. Wow. Rare father and son teams, aren't they?
Oh, not there. It wasn't.
Not in the country.
No. I reckon East Murray B grade was during the 1980s. They had 5 sets of father and sons playing the B grade one day, and they weren't old men and little boys. They were 16-year-olds and 40-year-olds.
That's fantastic. Did you ever play with your son?
Yes.
Did you really?
Yeah. And the day I got the ball, delivered up in the forward line, ran on for it, got myself set up to take a mark, and I had, leave it, Dad. And he took the mark over the pack and kicked the goal, and I said, right, that's it for me, I'm finished.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we played 5 games together, and I retired.
Swanreach had a disastrous opening to Mid-Murray football, losing their first game to Cadell 29-22 to 0-2.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was controversial times because the 5 teams, Wonka went to the Riverland, Swanreach went the other way. The league folded, and that was how East Murray Football Club was formed. And there was a lot of animosity at the time, but I think that's all been patched up now.
Good, it's all settled. Here you are. Peter Lyons kicked his 100th goal for the season in a minor round Colts match against Perponda. Where's Perponda?
Just on from Copeville.
Tom Avery Jr., in a nice touch, ran a water bottle out to Peter to be the first person to congratulate him on his achievement. And you completed the season with 146 goals for a possible 16 matches, with the best of 18 against Peak. That's a nice note, isn't it?
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. When was it?
1975.
You don't look that old. That's nearly 40 years.
I look after myself.
You do?
Despite the triple bypass I had a few years ago.
Triple bypass? And what do you do in Cowell?
I'm the groundsman at the Oval, at the sporting complex, and then did the same thing at the kindy, the school. Yeah.
Do you feel dislocated? Why are you over there and not in the valley?
My wife's parents are there.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you feel dislocated, Peter, that you're not, where you're from?
I miss it.
Yeah.
But with Mum and Dad gone now, it's probably not the same there either.
No. Yeah, that happens, doesn't it? Well, you were greatly welcomed and appreciated. I saw all that happen at the 100th anniversary of the town.
Yeah.
Elwyn Fudd Francis played his 300th game for East Murray in 1997. Amazing feat. Incredible. Not naturally skilled.
No, he didn't start playing football till he was about 16.
Good.
And ended up playing over 300 games.
A lot of characters, controversy. At Gerard, where's Gerard?
Gerard's the Mission over in the Riverland.
Oh, I see. When the home side pulled out, this is the grand final, isn't it?
No, it's during the season. At half-time during a match, they'd had enough. They were 27 goals down, and they said, we're not coming back out. We've only got 12 fit players, so we hopped on the bus and went home.
Oh, you were in it?
Yeah.
Good
I'd kicked 6 goals at half-time, and I was going to the field down the second half, and never happened.
And your own parents, Neville and Pat Lyons, who were stalwarts in various
they were life members at East Murray.
You lost your father in 2012.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, that was 3 years after Mum died.
Yeah. Well, it's good that tribute is paid to them, and we remember volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Dad, he'd only been secretary of the club for about 2 years, and he had a car accident, and he was in hospital for a long time. And the East Murray district really looked after us, and they passed the hat around, and I think knowing him, he felt indebted to them, and he was going to give back to them for as long as he could.
Of course you did, the male medal, of course, means a lot, doesn't it, to those, and over the years.
Yeah, I think if you buy them in the shop, they're probably only worth about $10, but they're worth a lot less symbol. Yeah.
I wish you well, Peter. I thank you for this book and your scholarship and what you add to your game and your community.
Yeah, thank you, Peter.
What's your next book?
I don't know. There's nothing there yet.
This is 3.
Yeah, I'm even thinking of going in another direction.
And what?
Not enough, I should say. The Mindry Hallidan Racing Club, I reckon. They're coming up for 100 years of cup meetings. Good I've been tinkering with that idea.
I think you should. And you do a great job, Peter. Good luck to you. Peter Lyons. And where can people get this book, please?
I'm at Dimmock's tomorrow morning
good
from
on
10 o'clock. It's there. they can contact me through email at bplines@bigpond.com.
Yep, BP Lines, Lines, at bigpond.com.
Yep.
Your Dimmicks in Rundle Mall.
Dimmicks, that's at the Murray Bridge Toy World, Sports Power in Loxton, and the Corinda Mini Mart, and also at East Murray Area School.
Good on you, kiddo. Thank you so much. Coming up.